Let's talk about blues tonality. This is a session on the blues scale and blues tonality. So I'm going to play the blues scale, and then I'm going to tell you where I think it came from, and then we're going to sort of work through the pitches. We're going to work through, if you take a look at your sheet, it says blues scale, and there's sort of some brackets. And the brackets, that's sort of what I'd call the core region of the blues scale. So you're a melodic imagination. We worked at the beginning of this workshop just on a little melodic imagination. But the core of your melodic imagination at the beginning should be what's inside that brackets. What's inside the brackets? That's your sort of core region blues scale. You can go down below, and you can go up above. And it's important to do both of those things.
Adam,
yeah.
Sheet. I didn't get the
He wasn't here.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, just have another.
Yeah, make sure you get one. So let me, actually, I'm gonna, before I play it, I want to talk about where I think the blues scale comes from, and here's something important to understand about it. Do you have?
Yeah, the other one.
So, here's something interesting. So, if you were to look at the first published version of W.C. Handy's St. Louis Blues, which is one of the most famous, but certainly the most widely covered blues song in the world. Everybody's covered that song. Chuck Berry has a version of St. Louis Blues, believe it or not. I challenge you to go to YouTube and find it. If you look at the first published version, it has what we call a minor third followed by a major third. It goes like that. I hate to see the evening sun go down. And what W.C. Handy did was, he talks about this in his book, Father of the Blues. He talks about hearing some woman singing about the man who was so far from her that it was, my love's like a rock tossed into the deep blue sea. I think she's either talking about the man she loves, whose love has gone way far away from her, or she's talking about her own cold heart at this point. My love is just like a rock in the sea. It's not around for him anymore. But W.C. Handy heard her singing. And when he wrote Father of the Blues, he was trying to explain what the blues were and what his compositions were about. He had an incredibly important discovery. He couldn't translate. He knew that if you could take some of what blues were about and translate them into sheet music, you could make a lot of money. And that's what he did. And what he did was he abstracted one specific thing that is in the blues, and he put it in sheet music. He put a minor third in a song that was basically in a major key. Put a minor third in a major key. So on the harp, what's the Broadway song? Yeah, my mama done told me a man is a... And the effect that it had was so transformative that it ended up being called Mr. Handy's famous blues note, believe it or not. His famous blues note or blue note. When we talk about blues scales, we're talking about a kind of abstraction. But it comes from blues singing. It comes from blues singing. And so if I hear, I'll pretend I'm W.C. Handy, and I hear somebody who goes, whoa, whoa, that's a little early in the day, whoa, you know, my girl left me, whoa. And if you hear that, and you have a harmonica, and you go, Germans, German made. These were floating around the South, and people were. W.C. Handy wanted to be John Philip Sousa. John Philip Sousa was the head of the U.S. military band. This is the Marine band. John Philip Sousa was the head of the Marine band, so everybody wanted to play those. Right? That was a huge thing, and that's what W.C. Handy wanted to do. He ended up getting into the blues because he heard somebody singing like that. And, whoa! And somebody figured out that if you could find those notes on the harmonica. Whoa, they're right there. Whoa, whoa, baby, please don't go. So what Haney figured out is that you could, instead of getting that blue third that we can get on the harmonica, you see, that's the thing. Handy wanted to do sheet music that piano players could play because that's what everybody was doing back then. He couldn't exactly replicate the pitch that the blues singers were playing. And that we can get on the harmonica. That's the other one, you know. Wish I had a guitar here. I would show you on the guitar, but
I can go get one. You are here.
could you?
Yeah.
Kevin, I will play on the guitar. We'll show you
What I do.
So Handy did the next best thing. He said, well, I'll do the minor followed by the major. What I'm trying to tell you is that one of the things we're going to do today is try to find that pitch that's between minor and major. That's between, and the pitch that Handy couldn't get, but he got the closest thing he could get, and it was hugely famous. We're talking about a blues scale, and the note I'm talking about is that blue third. So if you look on the blues scale, and you'll notice, so it says to draw, the arrow pointing down is draw, and then I have blue third. That's sort of Gussow's famous blue note, right? But it's not a minor third, and it's not a major third. It's sort of a little bit above a minor third. And a guitar can show you that easily. It's harder to hear, but part of what you need to do if you want to actually play blues on the harmonica is begin to hear in a slightly different way than you may be used to hearing. Now if you look at these pitches, root, blue third, fourth, notice that there's an arrow of a four blow pointing upwards. Oh, fantastic. This is going to be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So if it was a Martin, I would be very careful with it. It's a... I'm going to be careful. I'm joking. I will be careful. Oh, here's the guitar player. Okay. I'm going to keep it right here so that nothing happens to it. We're just going to go through the scale, and then I'm going to work you guys through this. Root, blue third, fourth, flat fifth, very important blues note. It's actually the one that I sang. The fifth, which is the four draw, the flat seventh, and the octave. And notice that there's these little asterisks over the blue third and flat fifth. And I say half step bend over the blue third. Actually, it's a little less than a half step. Because, you know, blues is not, it's really hard to notate blues, believe it or not. All the things that blues, and I'll show you in a sec, I'll demonstrate vividly on the guitar, and octave. So root, blue third, fourth, flat fifth, fifth, flat seventh, and octave. So what does that sound like? Let me just give you a sense in your ears. It sounds more bluesy on the way down. And the reason for that is because we've all heard, wait a minute, you've all heard this song, right? This is the one Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo? Some of us grew up on. It's the notes of the blues scale. Rick Derringer, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, Johnny Winter. So rock and roll took a blues scale and did certain things with it. Let me show you about that blue third. Actually, let's start with the first note of the scale, the root, the two draw. Everybody play me a pretty two draw. Big and bold. Okay. Anybody have vibrato? Can throw vibrato on that? If you do, do it. Great. Okay. Now, that next note, play me the three draw with no bend whatsoever, just open three. Okay. Let's make sure we're in tune. Play me the two draw. Somebody play me the two draw. Just one. Would you play me two draw? Good. Play me three blow. Three blow. That was four blow. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, so play me your three draw. Okay, everybody hear that? And there's a visual analog, so I want you to just watch what I'm doing. So there's, play me 2 draw. Okay, 3 draw. So that's what we call an interval of a major third. Because I'm going 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. It's nursery rhyme kind of stuff. Da, 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 da. Right, Mary Had a Little Lamb? Okay. Now this is the, don't anybody play, this is the minor third. So if I was doing the American National Anthem and I wanted to be depressing, instead of, sorry. Okay, never mind the American National Anthem. Is that okay? Can I?
You're excused.
In a room of Canadians, I think that's
Random American.
random.
Yes.
There's a random American. So we'll forget about the. I often do that. There we go, on that octave. Suppose I did minor. That would be a depressing national.
Appropriate for current times.
Okay, major. So major is very different from minor. Okay. Why am I showing you all this? Because when a blues player with a guitar in his or her hand, when a blues player wants to play a blue third, they don't go, they go,
And that's the bend.
they push it up a little. It's not this, but it's not quite that. Or they smear it together. Well, better like this. That smearing thing is really hard to find on the harmonica. But it's there, and trust me that the great players knew about it. Junior Wells, Big Walter Horton, you can hear them nail that note. I'll show you on Have a Good Time, Big Walter does it. And this is why the guitar is a great. I started guitar and harmonica at 16, the age of 16. So for me, it was a natural thing to kind of think about those blues pitches. And when I first started learning guitar, they show you the blues scale for a rock guitar thing or blues guitar, and it was just. And then I saw some little 12-year-old phenom guitar player who lived in the town over from me. The first time I ever saw this kid, he was unbelievable, and he would do all that stuff, smearing his fingers across, and I said, well, that's the sound. What's that sound? The sound. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans. You know I love you so, right? That's smearing. So you have to somehow file away. Is this your guitar, by the way?
No, it's the other guys.
The other guys. Yeah, well, just maybe back there.
Yeah.
But that's my point. The point is, blues tonality is trying to approximate what blues singers do, and what they do is tougher than most people realize. They're hitting small little microtonal things. So what I was doing in Western musical notation is I was going up 5 or 10 cents from the minor third. Don't worry if you've never heard that, talking about music like it's money. It was new to me 5 years ago. So you have what I want to do is let's take a look at that blue third exercises. And let's look at number 3. Now you don't have to worry about what that looks like yet. I'll show you how that sounds. All I want to do is I want to do call and response singing first. And then we're going to try to play. Okay? So now maybe we should try that. No, let's sing first. So I'm going to tap my foot to get the groove. Well, baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't. I messed that up. I went major. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Well, 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 baby, please don't go.
baby, please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go.
So obviously one thing we're also doing is we're going call and response, which is an incredibly powerful principle that's in the blues. It goes back into sort of black church music, which was call and response, but usually it was, well, and they had an individual and a group. In the blues, that call and response thing that was in the musical tradition gets transformed into a thing that can happen with one person. Guitar player playing, baby, please don't go, and then use your guitar to respond to what you just sang. Call and response. So what we're doing here, if it feels interesting and even powerful, as poorly as we all are as singers, I'm not a trained singer really, we're just all trying to make it work. But there's an important lesson. Let's try to find that blue third. So one way to get to the blue third is to try to do the beginning of St. Louis Blues. So I'd like you to try to respond to that with the same thing. Can everybody bend? If you can't bend, raise your hand. If you can't bend at all, it's going to be tough.
I made it once this week,
All right.
but
Everybody else, some kind of a
I think I have to
bend?
repeat it.
Sometimes.
Okay.
So let me make another point, by the way, about bends. This is important. The first bend that most people learn is the 4-hole draw bend. We're going to get to 4-draw. The 3 is actually the toughest one. The reason that's the first and the easiest in some sense is because you just have to try to hit it really hard, and then you bend it down a half step or a little more than a half step, and you got your bend note. Because the 4-draw and the 4-blow are exactly a whole step apart. So when you bend hard, you bend down, sort of into a blue third, into a flat 5. You're bending down a little below a flat 5, but you're bending down, and a hard bend sounds fine. The next bend most people do is the 2-draw bend. And if they can bend strongly, it notches down. At first it's just a... But most people, when they learn how to do a hard bend, it bends down about a whole step, a little bit more. That was a hard 2-draw bend. But it still works pretty well as a kind of blue note. The 3-hole draw is very different from those 2 holes because there's a much bigger space between the draw note and the blow note. If I go 3 blow and 3 draw, that's a lot of space. And a bend is just a way of getting at whatever the notes are that are in there. Actually, this is where I should have the guitar, but I don't need the guitar. I'll show you without the guitar. There's a whole lot of half steps, a whole lot of frets between 3 draw and 3 blow. And I can bend to each one of them. And the blow. So if I just do on the 3 what I was trying to do on the 4 and the 2, which is pull really hard, I'm going to pull it down into a flat 9. It's going to pull it down to a note that I don't really want at all. So the tricky thing about the blue third, which is a really important note, is that you got to be able to hit it kind of hard, but also subtly enough that you're not pulling that note way down, just a little down. And that makes it particularly tricky. And it's why I think, for those of you who might say you're sort of solidly intermediate, and I think some of you would say that, this is sort of where the advanced intermediate players show up. They're the ones who can actually pull it down and get a pretty good sounding note, and it doesn't go too far. It's a hard thing to do. It's one of those things. So, again, if you're sort of in the beginner range, you're going, oh my God, let me get out, let me go and learn bluegrass. I'm learning at this point. And that's okay. You won't get hurt. So let's try to do that 3. The way to do it is to have in your head, baby, please don't go. And what I'm doing, by the way, I should say one more thing. This is advanced blues scale stuff. Is as I hit that note, baby, please, I'm raising the pitch 5 or 10 cents in time. So that there's a weird lilting kind of thing if you have ears to hear it. Baby, and I'll exaggerate it. Well, baby, please don't. There, I really scooped it up, right? Please, please, right? Please don't go. And to have that feeling, you're finding something between major and minor. That's where the blues are, between major and minor. I used to say they were despair backed by euphoria. You know, you're in a funk, and then you say, F this, I'm going to get out of here and find something new because I just can't stay here. This is not going to work. Blues is sourced in that kind of a thing. So I've lost her, but there's other fish in the sea. So I wish I was a catfish, swimming in the deep blue sea. I'd have all the women swimming after me. When Honey Boy Edwards sings a line like that, So I want you to try, with whatever subtlety you have or whatever strength you have, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to sing, baby, please don't go, and then I'm going to play the harmonica to try to echo what I've just sung. And then I want you guys to do exactly the same thing. So I want you to sing and then play. And I'll listen, and then I'll do it. So let's see if that works. I've never done it quite that way, but let's see if we can do it. Well, baby, please don't go. No, it's just me playing.
Oh, sorry.
Well, baby, please don't go. And then you guys sing and you guys play. Can we do that? Let's just see if that works. I don't know if it works. So, and this, you listen to me do it, then you do exactly what I did, but give me two one-bar things to do it. Well, baby, please don't go.
Well, baby, please don't go.
Well, baby, please don't go. Okay, wait. Yeah, I think the structure's wrong. So let's all sing together, and then let's all play together. 1, 2, 3, sing. Baby, please don't go. Well, 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 baby, please don't go. Please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go. One more time. Baby, please don't go. Is that helping it? Does that work?
Yeah.
Does that work?
That's great.
You're helping yourself become better blues singers, but also you're realizing the connection between singing and playing and the bluesiness of both. And I think it really helps striving to kind of vocalize the right sound and then try to produce it. It's hard. Does anybody want to play it for me?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get it over with.
All right, get it over with.
Well, baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go.
All right, let me pause. So your third isn't pulled down enough. Your
Not
third's
enough.
a little too majory. Yeah. Whoa! Now,
Yeah.
did you all hear that?
Yeah.
So
That was great.
Is that the second bend? I was shooting for the first bend.
Well, no, what you did right there was exactly the right bend. I don't know.
What did you do? You want to know what I did? Yes.
Yeah. What'd you do?
So,
Took your
I
glasses.
visualized an almond resting in my tongue. My tongue curls around it. What do I have to do to hold it there? That's what I did.
Wow.
And which note were you on? I don't know.
Whatever you did, I'm going to be on with it. I'm going to keep
It's
that.
visual.
It wasn't gonna do all.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Yes.
Honestly, that's how I do it.
All right. Try it, guys. So let's sing and play it. Well, baby, please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. All right, let me pause again. So, anybody else want to try it? You saw how? Yes, sir.
Well, baby, please don't go. Well, baby, please don't go.
So not bad, but two things. Number one is you're using the 3 blow instead of the 2 draw as your root. Same note, There are reasons to not do that. I mean, the reason is that the reason I use the 2 draw much more than the 3 blow. So you went, and one reason not to do that is if you have any kind of a chord rhythm. I can do the chord rhythm. And I can't do the same rhythm. It's trickier. I guess I could do it. The note that you're doing, at first there wasn't quite enough bend and you kind of kicked a little something in. Do it again. I want to hear that note. Do it again. Keep going. So you're kind of ending up on a note that doesn't have any bend. So the trick here, what would happen if you bent a little further or tried to bend a little further? It might go too far, that's very common. So instead of doing that note on a rhythm, just play. Can you do? It's tricky, right? For many of you, I suspect that 3. Yeah, do that again. Right.
Yeah.
And so here's something that can help you notch that note in, which is if you add your tongue to the mix. So instead of, if you go, let's just take the 3 draw and go like your tongue on the roof of your mouth, like Jingle Bells. So I'll go like that. That means ceasefire. Yeah, you guys are all good. Thank you for participating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 harmonica players in one room. We're going to do the bent 10 blow, right? And then it'll be. Let's play 9 blow. Can we all do that? This is why I don't like harmonica players. All right. So if you do Jingle Bells, just those and then you begin to do whatever you would do to create a bend on any other hole. As you're doing that, watch this. You can get. I feel my jaw kind of almost narrowing. I know it can't be narrowing because my jaw is my jaw, but it feels like I'm. And it may be the almond curling up in my tongue. I like that analogy. Yeah.
Same thing happening in the throat.
But your cheeks are coming in, your cheeks are narrowing.
I don't know what's happening.
No,
I'm only the
I think your
harmonica.
cheeks
I'm
are
supposed to
narrowing.
know, aren't I?
I just feel like as
Yeah.
you do it yourself.
It's man, and this has always been a trial for me. What I'll say is there's something about the 3 draw bends, that, especially that one, it feels different than the others. Okay, here's what I do. I think, you can tell me if this is true or not, people who are on the side, I think I'm pulling my lower jaw, my whole jaw back. It feels
Back and down.
I'm definitely not going forward. I could go forward, though it would work. I'm certainly. I don't know what the hell.
You were going back and
What the hell?
down. You were going back and down.
Was I?
Yeah.
It's always felt. It's always. It feels like I'm narrowing the air chamber a little bit more than I want to, and so this is why full-time tongue blockers will say, you see, and they'll do it more with in their throat. It feels like I'm pulling my voice box back. You tell me. It feels like something's.
Oh, that made it go down.
Did that work? I'd like to hear from some other. I'd like to hear other people do it. Let me. What are you doing?
What am I doing? 2 and 3 or just 3?
My brow furrowed. Yeah. Do it again. Yeah, and so you did. You have to be careful not to go too far. Let's talk about what a constructive version of too far is. Let's do Mary Had a Little Lamb as just a little pause to talk about the 3-hole and how important it is. It's not a blues pitch, but let's talk about this. So, if I want to get the whole step bend, not the almost half step bend, not the blue third, but a whole step bend, I go like. That's the whole step bend. That's the blue third. Can we all try the whole step bend? Do Mary Had a Little Lamb starting on the 3-hole draw? Or 3 blind mice? Yeah, 3 blind mice. So I want you to echo me. Good. Good. If you want to get the minor third, you've got to go back to the opening phrase of St. Louis Blues, which is, so I'm going minor to major on the 3. That'll, if that sounds right, then you're at least hitting the minor third. Tell you what, guys. Because of the time, I'm going to move ahead. This is the blue third. This is just one note in the blues scale, but it's the hardest one.
Yep.
Which is why it was worth taking all that time. Let's look and see what else we've got on the sheet. So we've got, I think it's my own blues scale. Okay, root, blue third, fourth. All right. And the 4th happens to be the 4-hole blow. That's just totally coincidental. Don't ascribe any meaning to that. So what's the 4th? The 4th is a note that if I was doing Indagata de Vida, what was that 60s song? Or wait a minute, no. Right. No, I'm thinking of Smoke on the Water. Yes, different. If you're in the 70s, if you can remember the 70s, you were there. Right?
You were there.
You were there. If you can't remember the 70s, you were there. That is root, blue third, 4th, root, blue third, flat 5th, 4th. That's the opening phrase. Good practice for the blues scale. All right? Let's just do the following. Let's just do root, blue third, 4th, blue third, root, like this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, tap. 2, 3, 4. All right, that was the root. That's the 4th.